today we're here with Taylor Ojeda, also known as the Brujita on Instagram. And today we're going to do a card reading. So Taylor, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And first, before we start, go ahead and tell me a little bit about brujeria, some stigmas that we might be aware of, and how you feel where you stand on practicing it.
For sure. So I'll try to make it as quick as possible, but it is a lot. So I don't practice traditional, what we would consider traditional brujeria. I practice more hechiceria, as I've learned throughout, just learning and growing as we all do. But I really love keeping the name Brujita because I know that so many of us are disenfranchised from our communities and our religions and all these things. So I feel like it really targets that demographic as well. But yeah, today we're going to do a card reading and I'm actually really excited.
And so before we started the interview, I expressed to her my concerns because I have a very religious upbringing. And of course, for many, this is a sin or you're not supposed to do this. But we had a great conversation before. And just for anyone who might have that same mindset, what is your go-to phrase to sort of ease their minds and let them know your intentions?
For sure. So I never want to pressure anybody. If you do not feel comfortable, do not book a reading, like completely. I was also raised Catholic, so trust me, it was very scary for me too.
All right, girl. Okay, well, let's get down to it. Where do we start?
Okay. So do you have any specific questions?
I have so many. Let's just say, tell me something I need to hear.
So if you've been having a lot of shifts in your life right now, and of course we're all having shifts right now with COVID, such and such, you're in the middle of like some kind of like lesson, right? What does that mean? There are a lot of boxes that you put yourself in, right? That need to be open to find that peace that I guess is not lost, but more like unseen, something that you've been looking for. And the way to find it, honestly, is recognizing, one, that we have a lot of old patterns that no longer serve us, and two, sometimes things that feel uncomfortable and are new means that there's some kind of growth going on there. Because if you think of growing pains, they're not fun, they're not comfortable. So in order for you to find this, you have to recognize that there are a lot of things around you, or I should say a lot of perceptions that you have around you, like as a self, as a person, that need to be let go. And you need to find those for you. So I have this card here and it says the river, but if you see that's actually a piece of a mirror in the water. Water is very cleansing, very healing, and the mirror, of course, is the self. And this is talking about recognizing that it's distorted right now. So there are some things that you're perceiving about yourself that aren't true and that are no longer serving you. This is the advice card. Dear you, now is one of those times you're being asked to add some distance and take a step back and do nothing but observe. Don't worry about how long it will take to regroup. Just know it's temporary and actually an opportunity to take a breath, slow down, and look at how far you've come. Decisions for the highest good are made when you have clarity, which comes from being open to information from both the intellectual and the intuition. When you step into the role of observer, it's as if you turn on a switch that allows your soul to be an essential part of this information gathering and decision-making process. In this way, you could approach things from a more neutral and non-judgmental place. We know you'll make the right choice. Trust us when we say now is not the time to get too close to the fray. Step back now, you will be glad you did. Love you, Spirit.
Well, as a little bit of feedback for anyone watching from home, of course, it's sort of like how people might perceive the zodiac and they hear their horoscope and they're like, oh, that could be anyone. But really, I mean, a lot of these things can really tie into something you're going through. So in my life, we're in a transition in our home. We're wanting to start a family soon. And, my career is evolving, still working on music, even though it was a much bigger part of my life before COVID. It still is, but I'm reassessing my passion and my path with that. So the way that I connect to everything you said is just that there is a new version of myself in my adulthood and my married life and my mom life and my career that is very different from the old me. And certainly it can be very hard on myself and have a lot of views of myself based on maybe what I think other people think of me or what I want them to think of me. And it's something that I certainly need to sort of address and come to peace with. And I constantly preaching confidence and loving yourself and being yourself. But the people that preach the most about something struggle the most with it. Hardships that I've shared with our friends at home about how our contractor walked out on us with a lot of money and a lot of work that was unfinished. And so we're in a place where we're switching attitudes about it and going from like poor us and what are we gonna do? And we're so lost to like, let's count our blessings, switch our attitude, keep the good energy going, and just keep loving that home and finding a way to get ourselves in there. So that's how I'm interpreting everything that you shared with me. And it was cool. That was painless. I thought it was gonna be a lot more like, not personal, but scary.
Yeah, and truthfully, that's how most readings go, and not just for me, for other readers as well. It's the ones that preach, I see a death in the future. Those are usually the scammers, and they just want you to buy more services to prevent this death.
Okay, very cool. Well, I wish we had all day to visit with you, but this has been such a treat, Taylor. One more time, if our friends at home want to give this a try, where can they reach out to you?
So you can book me online at brujitaboutique.com, or you can check me out on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram is the.brujita.